Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Can everybody hear? I'm pretty loud anyway, so, okay. But I'd like to welcome everybody and appreciate everybody coming out tonight, in spite of most people being in the dark, I guess. But we want to go ahead and start on time because we do have several questions. We were thinking about having the audience write down some questions, but we're looking at a time constraint, and you know, we're just not real sure we're going to have time for it. But if you do have a burning question, I'm sure you can just tackle any of these folks here tonight and just ask them. So, and of course, if we do have time, we'll go ahead and do that. But we want to welcome everyone to our candidate forum this evening. You know, the Chamber is made up of citizens who work and live in this area. And this area is home, and our members really want to know all about their elected officials and where they stand on issues that affect us all. It's been said that informed citizens are engaged citizens, and engaged citizens are informed citizens. So that's the reason we wanted to have the forum tonight, just so that you get to know your candidates and can make a better decision on your voting and on the issues. So I want to go ahead and introduce our moderator this evening, and he's no stranger to us. Most of you already know him, but I want to thank and introduce Frank Barnes, who is our moderator this evening. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the forum right on over to him.
I was busy doing something in my mind. Did you talk about the 2 minutes and the 3 minutes and all that? No. Okay, I didn't think. Okay, each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves when we get started tonight. So as we go around, we'll have each candidate introduce himself, and you'll have 2 minutes for that. And then what we'll do then is we've got a microphone here, and we'll pass that down as each candidate. You can take it first, Emily, and then right down the line, you can introduce yourself. You've got 2 minutes to do it, and then Chris and so forth on down the line. And then when we get into our questions, each candidate will have 3 minutes to respond to the question. Your timekeeper is Bob Gimmel back there. He's got a yellow sheet and a red sheet. The yellow sheet tells you you have 30 seconds left. And the red sheet says stop. Okay, the red card. So when you just watch for Bob, and when he gives you the yellow sheet, that'll tell you in your mind that you need to be winding it up. When he does the red card, stop, right? Okay. And please be respectful and end your response when the red card is presented. No questions will be allowed directly from audience members. So, and we've got, the way this format kind of works, we've got quite a few questions, so it'll run, you know, we'll fill the evening up pretty well. Are there any other questions? Anybody have any questions? Is there something I haven't covered? Well, what we'll do then is we'll start, and we'll just go down the line here. We'll start with Emily and go to Chris, go to Jack, go on down to Mr. Hoops there, and go down to Donnie, and just pass the mic. So you'll have you'll have 2 minutes, and again, he'll be with the card there. So.
I think she wants to use this mic.
Yeah, I don't want to give you mine. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll get the other one. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Emily Combs Davis. I'm a Tazewell native, I guess you could say. We moved back to Tazewell. My mom grew up here. We moved back to Tazewell when I was 2 weeks old. So whenever my dad wanted to know how long we'd been in Tazewell, he would just ask me how old I was. I moved away right after high school pretty much. Lived in Richmond for most of that time, and then pretty much we came back about 4 years ago. My husband and I, who is also a Tazewell native, we came back. We have 2 young children. We're basically looking to get more involved in the community to make sure that our children don't feel like that they need to move away right after high school. Like I felt like there wasn't very much opportunity here and the opportunity was elsewhere. I want to bring more opportunity into this area. We have a small business, does heating and air conditioning, and I do the books because I don't know heating and air conditioning. My experience was working for attorneys. So that's pretty much my introduction.
Good evening. My name is Chris Brown. I'm up for re-election for Town Council. This is my second re-election. I was initially appointed when we had the unfortunate passing of Dr. Grindstaff. I am not a native. I am a Yankee, but I got my papers from Scott Cole around 2004 or 5. I have it on my wall in my office. I have a wife and 3 great kids. That's a great wife and 3 great kids. I've been very, very invested in this community since I got here in 1998, where we've invested in our practice. We've invested in commercial property and obviously our home, but I've also invested greatly in this community on boards such as the YMCA, Habitat for Humanity, Rotary, tutoring at North Tazewell Elementary School, and on and on. So I am incredibly vested in this town, and to be 100% transparent with you, when I was asked to interview for the appointment when Donnie took over mayor for Dr. G, and I fulfilled his remaining place on the council, I did so because of the situation that our town is in. And I'm a business owner. I want my kids here. If my kids want to come back here after they go to school, I want them to have an opportunity to be here. And this place has incredible, incredible opportunity. It's just a matter of getting the right people together, like the IDA that we created with Nancy and Kim and so many others, and doing the things that we need to do to make this a great community. Change is happening. It's happening at a pace that hasn't been seen since I got here in 1998, like it is in the last 5 or 6 years. And that's why I want to keep going, because we still got a lot of work to do. Thank you.
By the way, one thing you can do is, you noticed he got louder when he brought the mic up pretty close to his mouth. That makes it better.
I don't think I need it. My name is Jack Murray. I'm running for my 3rd period of time on the town. I have enjoyed very much working for the town. I am not a native of Tazewell, but I've been here 40-some years. I have had businesses in town. I own a used car lot. I owned a laundromat down on West Main Street for 40-some years, and I closed it and I just sold it to my cousin. I worked for Harry's Mobile Homes for 25 years. I took care of his business and his rental properties. I have worked in the finance business, so I know a little bit about financing and reading about financing. And I'm fortunate that 2 of my sons do live in Tazewell, or did. One lives in Tazewell, has his own business here. My other son just moved to Bluefield, Virginia, but he's working for the sheriff's department. Thank you very much.
I don't think I'll need the mic either. You got a naturally loud voice. You may have seen the signs around. I'm Michael Hoops, running for mayor. I'm born and raised in Tazewell, 1991 graduate at Tazewell High School. Upon graduation, I joined the United States Navy and went out to protect this wonderful country for 9 years. So after my 9-year enlistment, I went to Washington, D.C., where I spent another 13 years and worked for various intelligence agencies there to continue supporting this country and trying to support our guys and gals out in the field. We moved around. I met Amanda we kind of created a Brady Bunch family. I had one, she had three, then we had one together. She wasn't a Northern Virginia, D.C. area type girl because she's from Tazewell also, and it had wore me out, so we decided to move back home. As this is such a great place to raise a family, the safety, just the opportunities that have been coming available. It's just been great. We're dedicated to this community. My wife's opened a business on Main Street to offer a shopping incentive instead of going to the various big box stores or whatever, or Walmart on each end of the county. And we're here to stay. We have 5 kids we've got kids in all the local schools here. So we're here to help this town grow and put forth our effort on making sure that happens. That's it.
Excuse me. If you take a moment, a friend of mine who was a leader of our community passed away this week, Eli Jones. And, he was instrumental in the Clinch Valley Community Action, helping the needs of the kids and families of our area. And I think just taking a moment of silence for his death and honoring him would be appropriate at this time. Amen. I'm Don Buchanan. I am the mayor of the town of Tazewell. I've been a lifelong resident here. I graduated in Tazewell with Frank's brother in 1973. We actually had our reunion this weekend for 45 years. I happened to be the 100th class that graduated from Tazewell. So 5 years from now, we're going to have another party for 150 years honoring Tazewell High School. I'm married to Debbie, my wife here. We have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. And they have been active in coaching in different aspects in our lives. I graduated from Bluefield College when I was a junior college, and then went to Virginia Tech and got a degree there. At that time, I was interviewed and hired by Desk and Supermarkets, and I stayed there for 27 years, believe it or not. I was the last man out the door. And I did all the computer work for them during that time. And also during that time, I coached Little League Baseball, Little League Basketball, and Little League Football. Actually, I coached Omar Reed back there. He was one of my players with the Oreos in the Little League. So, but I really enjoyed being the mayor of town of Tazewell. I was hoping you wouldn't count that deal when I had with Eli. But we'll get some more questions there.
And I think it's great we can have this. It's something that we as Americans, it's a right that we as Americans have, and we can see our candidates and hear our candidates, and may the best man or lady win. But it's good to have this, and we've got a great turnout tonight. So thank you all for coming. We will start now with our questions. Now, the way we've got this thing, it might be the easiest since we've got everybody seated the way we do. We've got questions for the town council. We've got questions for the mayoral candidates. So probably the easiest thing would be to just go down the line. Emily will start first, and then we'll go to Chris, and we'll go to Jack, and then we'll go down to the 2 mayoral candidates. All right, our first question is, and you got 3 minutes on this. Why do you want to be a council member?
Why do I want to be a council member? Basically, my family has always been politically active. My grandmother was extremely politically active. She used to have a magnet on her refrigerator when we would go visit her in Richmond that said, "A woman's place is in the house." and the Senate. So she was definitely way before her time. I don't know if many of you remember, but my father ran for office when I was in 5th grade. I've been registered to vote since I was 18, and I have voted in every single election and most primaries since that time. I am very involved in the process on the individual level, and I want to be more involved in the process on the government level. I do see our town moving forward, and I want to be involved in that. That's really why I'm running.
I'm started. I'm running for re-election for town councilman because we've got work to do. A really smart guy who got sitting in the back there said to me not too many years ago that if a town's not growing, it's dying. Because the cost of running a town and maintaining a town goes up every year. And when I was appointed, the reason why I wanted to be appointed is it was obvious that that was happening. And quite frankly, it's still happening, which is why we have so much work to do. But we have done so much. We have laid so much foundation over these past few years. Infrastructurally, we've redone meters, we've repaired roads, we're working on bridges that have been needed work for a while. We'll be redoing our wastewater treatment plant soon. Sidewalks are coming in. We did Main Street, we've done other sidewalks, but there's another huge sidewalk program coming in. Safety, we've replaced cruisers. We've revamped, thanks to Jack, and he is the financial guy, and I have respected him so much, and thanks for what he's done with our financial reports. We've revamped our ambulance and our emergency squad and got them out of the black and in the red. And in fact, when I was appointed, we were $800,000 in red. And I'm not taking credit for this. In fact, the council has one of the smartest things that the existing council has done is hire that guy back there. I think that's my biggest thing that I've done this time. But we also we've got the restaurants here, we've got the juice bar, we've got all the restaurants on Main Street, we've got the new shops on Main Street. We've got to get people here, continuously coming here. We've got contracts for a hotel, we've got contracts for a bowling alley, we've got a theater coming. We are laying down the foundation to bring more and more people into this town. Because I'll tell you what the best tax dollar is. It's the tax dollar that comes from outside of this jurisdiction. Right? That way we don't have to raise taxes in this town because the money that we need is coming from outside of this town. I want to continue to work to make that happen. And I know that it may seem like change isn't happening, but if you look at the change that's happened in the last 30 years versus the change that's happened in this town in the last 5 years, it's not comparable. I've been blessed enough to open a practice in Richlands, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I can't tell you the number of practice members in Richlands that are saying, "What are you guys doing in Tazewell?" I'm telling you, change has happened. It's never fast enough, especially with a government, but man, it's happening. I want to continue to be a part of it. I ask for your vote. I will work hard for you and work hard with our existing town manager and his awesome staff. Thank you. See, I plugged you there, Jack?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think everybody can hear me, can't you? I'm running for the town council because I have enjoyed the last 8.5 years on the town council. It makes me feel good to give back to the town. I came here. I like the town. It has been good to me, and I want it to be good to it. And I want to do everything I can to help it grow. As Mr. Brown said, I was in Bluefield last week talking to someone. They said the town of Tazewell was kicking our butts that year. The town of Tazewell was doing it right. I talked to a lady in Richlands this week. Same thing. She said, I wished Richlands could do what Tazewell was doing. The reason Tazewell is doing what they're doing is the council that you have works together, and we talk and we plan, and that's what we want to do. I've heard the saying, we need a change. Well, If you need a change, that's good, but I hope you change it for the better. And I appreciate your vote this term if you can get it.
Thank you. And then the next question for the mayoral candidates is very similar, but why do you want to be mayor of Tazewell? Mike?
Well, I've thought long and hard about this, and I can't take away anything that's happened over the last 5 or 6 years, but I can say there's so much more that can be done. I want to work on setting up programs for the youth, get them involved in their government at a young age, set up some type of youth council where they can come in, and they're not going to stay if we don't do anything to keep them here. We have to get their opinions on things, on what they want to do. I mean, we can all as adults say, hey, let's do this for the kids. And they may or may not go. They may not want that. So involving our youth into programs is one of my #1 priorities. Number 2 is, my wife's staring at me, so she's killing me. Number 2, getting out and seeing the businesses, not just Main Street, but the businesses throughout the town and all the residents in town. There's approximately 4,300 people that live in town. They should all know us. They should all feel comfortable coming up to us. I'd like to set up something, if elected, I'd like to set up something with Todd to where I could have an office in a municipal building and sit there and let people come in. A lot of people don't feel comfortable going in front of the town council, and that's all right. I used to be that same type of person where I wouldn't get up and talk in front of people. But giving people another avenue to use a mayor to take their concerns to the town council and let the mayor be their voice, because to me that's what a mayor's for. The voice for the businesses and the voice for the citizens. And that's it. Thank you.
I'm running for re-election for the office of mayor, and it's been a privilege to see Tazewell grow. I'm going to use Bobby's example here. 5 or 6 years ago, we was walking down the street. He said, we can't get a soft drink on Main Street at all. He said, do you think the Lions Club would be able to put a vending machine at the mini park? And they put a vending machine. Today, we've got 11 new businesses only on Main Street. I've been at over 20 ribbon cutting ceremonies. There have been 25 or so new businesses within the town within the last 5 years. It's a tremendous growth. And like Chris said, you go to different places in the county, different places in Southwest Virginia, different places in the state of Virginia. And I know about Tazewell. We even made the New York Times. That's amazing. 15, 20 years ago, we made the Times, Newsweek or Time magazine front page. Drug problem. We still got the drug problem, but now we're excited about it. Everybody in the country knows about Tazewell. And I'm proud to be able to serve as the mayor of Tazewell. Been proud to serve with our council. They've been very supportive, very imaginative, very out of the box. Town of Tazewell's the only small town in the state of Virginia that offers a business incentive. Nobody else does. We've worked with the county. We've actually improved our relationship with the county tremendously. When we hired Todd and I, Jim Spencer and Mike Heim sat down in the office over there. About 3 hours, we hashed out our differences. And we've gone forward since then. And you got to work together, not only with the citizens, the county, the state. We couldn't get all these grants, $19 million in grants in the last 5 years without some knowledge of somebody in another agency. I want to continue as the mayor of Tazewell. It's been fun. If it wasn't fun, it wasn't exciting, it wasn't good for the people. We got problems, and I got an open door policy. I don't have an office over in the office because we need the space. our public works guys in the office that used to be. And I don't want to take up time of Todd doing the daily operations. They know where I'm at. They got my email address. I'm on the street out about in Tazewell. But again, I ask you to vote for Don Buchanan for mayor.
Okay. Thanks. I think that first round went pretty well, don't you? Don't you, audience? Okay, we're going to do the second round of questions just like we did the first. Emily will start off. This is for the town council. What skills, knowledge, and or experiences do you have that make you the most qualified candidate for this office? You know?
What skills and knowledge do I have? Well, like I said, I worked for attorneys for a long time. I grew up in a family of attorneys. My sister was an attorney. I lived with her when she was in law school. I have an understanding of parts of the law. I don't claim to understand everything. The attorney that I worked for in Richmond was also a lobbyist. He lobbied the Virginia state government, so I was involved in part of that. I don't claim to be the most qualified, but I know that I will work tirelessly. I have a very young family. My youngest is not quite 3 yet. I'm looking for him to be able to be involved in this area, not just through the schools, but through everything. We have actually some daycare centers in the area now that we haven't had before, but I would like to see more of that. It's very difficult to find childcare in the area. We need to attract everything. We have a lot of motorcycle traffic going through the area. I live right on Tazewell Avenue. I hear the motorcycles all the time because their windows are not the best. We need to capitalize on that, and I think we are, but there's more that needs to be done. We need to have a reason for them to stop in here, and we need to capture that income from outside of the area. I don't think I'm the best qualified, but I know that I will work tirelessly and be involved.
I'll figure this out. I think that the knowledge that I have is I have Todd Day's cell phone number. And I can be in his ear all the time. No, the knowledge that I have is, this is my first appointment and then elected and now second. So I've got a good vibe going in this town and what we're doing. I'm also a businessman who's started 3 businesses now, and I love being busy. I love getting stuff done. I love to see things through to completion and follow through. And I'm definitely a big picture guy. I can see what the possibility is and can look past the people that say it's not possible. This town has endless possibility. And I want to be a part of making it a place that my kids not can come back to, want to come back to. And I'm proud of this place. I've been here for 20 years. I'm incredibly vested in this place. I have my life savings invested in this place. And I know how to make things work. I know how to make a business work. And I know how to help a council and a mayor work with our town manager and his great way under staff, get things done. And before the time comes up here, I want everybody to know, because I don't think it was announced, that Terry Mullins is actually up for re-election, and he is in Nevada at a conference representing Concord University, where he would absolutely be here. So please keep that in mind. He's been a great councilman as well. But I think my skill set is I work like a dog. And I work till it gets done. And the knowledge that I've gained through the patience of this council, who I know I've tried time and again, That and being able to run and grow and develop business, I think, is my skill and knowledge. So, thank you. I'm guessing you don't want that.
Yeah. Feel like a jack in the box.
I think I am qualified to be on the town council. I graduated from high school. I spent 7.5 years in the Air Force. I came out of Buck Sergeant. I was a training management. I came home to Bluefield. I went to work for a finance company. I spent 10 years in the finance business. I left that, came to Tazewell, took over a used car lot, and a few years later, I owned the car lot. When I sold that car lot, I went over and went to work for Jack Harry and Harry's Mobile Homes. I worked there 25 years, and I know I'm naming a lot of years, but I've got a lot of years on me. But I think I have the ability to work with the town council, with the town manager, with the mayor, and I think that the 8.5 years I've already spent as a town councilman makes me qualified. Thank you.
And the question for our, and you might have guessed this, the question for the mayoral candidates is basically the same thing. I'm going to read it again though. What skills, knowledge, and or experiences do you have that make you the most qualified candidate for this office? Michael.
Well, I think one, my military experience, I've been selected for positions of leadership to help people bring things together. I've been entrusted with having people well above my rank report to me because I have been able to, facilitate these people coming together and reaching a common goal. My education, so being afloat in the Navy, I did a few years with University of Maryland, a few years with Central Texas, and then I got my master's certificate in project management from George Washington University. So that all helped build upon my military training that I had that was always focused on leadership and training. So I think bringing that to the position of mayor and being able to work with the people and being able to understand the problems they have and working with the council and my neighbor, Mr. Day back there, we can all together come up with a common goal and how to fix whatever's going on in town. That's it. Thank you.
I got a couple skill sets. I'm the county manager for National Bank of Blacksburg, and one of my main responsibilities there is I do the budget for over $1 billion company. That's pretty amazing, a $1 billion company right here in town, Tazewell. Usually I get within $100,000 of projecting the income for each year. I know, Todd, we have a work session every year, a couple of work sessions, maybe 4 or 5 on our budget. And Todd's pretty amazing at that too, projecting what our income's going to be, what's our available expenditures, and then he'd ask us, what would we like to do? And a lot of times we have some amazing things that we want to do. This year was the aqua park. We probably was over the top on the budget, but that's an amazing thing for the kids to do. We got a little bit late start on that, but the aqua park is something for the kids, for the town of Tazewell, also for outside the area, and I think that's going to pick up tremendously. A lot of people when I travel are saying, "When you aqua park?" I seen the aqua park on Facebook, and we really enjoyed that. Also, I coached Little League for 10, 15 years. I know how the kids react, how to treat the parents, and I really enjoyed doing that. I also, as being the mayor, I tend to go to a lot of events. You just ask my wife. I mean, we won't go on vacation sometimes because we got an event, or we won't go out and eat somewhere because I won't go on Main Street to meet the people. And I think it's important to be out there and interact with the people. A lot of them's not from town, but you know, you never know who that guy is. You know, that guy might be Bill Gates or whoever. And he says, you know, I like Tazewell. It's a brand new place. And he might put business here. And it's a crapshoot that you know, that guy's gonna be here. But you never know. You don't know what the future's gonna hold. But I want to be part of that future. I think with the council and our direction, actually I think I voted one time in 7 years. And I think that was over some donation that we didn't want to give to somebody. And it was a tie vote. And I don't remember how I voted one way or the other, but that's pretty amazing. You know, we get along. And we listen to Todd, he listens to us. We're very transparent with what we do. And again, I'm asking for re-election. Thank you.
Now, for our next question for the town council candidates. In what areas do you see improvement in the Tazewell area? Does that make sense? No. After I read that, it didn't make sense to me either. Well, I think what we're saying is, in what areas would you like to see improvement in the Tazewell area? What areas can Tazewell improve on? Was that pretty much the question, Pam? You think, okay, in what areas can Tazewell improve on? How can we get better?
How can we get better? I think one that is in the works now is the hotel that's coming. There's not a whole lot of places for people that are traveling through town to stay. That is definitely one area. I think that another area that we could definitely get improvement on is different things for kids to do. I know that that's one of my main focuses. There is the aqua park, but that is pretty much for a certain age range. And I think that that's great. But for me, it doesn't really help me out right now because I have one child that is much too young for that and another child that's pretty much afraid to put her head underwater. So there's no way that she's going to take advantage of the aqua park. I do think that there needs to be more things available for children in the area, and I think that some of those things that need to be available inside. You know, we do have the aqua park, we do have Lincolnshire Park. There are a few other little parks that they can go to, but in the wintertime, there's not really anything for kids to do. And I know my children in particular will stay in front of the TV all day if you let them. So I do think that there needs to be a little bit available that we can get them out of the house, get them to socialize with other kids. We do take advantage of the library, which the library has some great programs. But I think that there needs to be a little bit more. The library's programs are pretty much available one day a week. I think that capitalizing on the traffic going through town needs to be improved upon. And I think the different things for kids to do. That's what I would like to see.
Well, I think I started the introduction by saying we have a lot of work to do. So infrastructure, we've got a lot to do. Todd inherited a water system that's 8 billion years old. So we're continually working on that. We have a wastewater treatment plant that's antiquated, and he's working with state and federal money now to have that up and running. So we need infrastructure to take care of this tourism, that we're going to create a place that people want to come to. So our roads are looking better than they have in years. Our sidewalk system is coming in, and we need more and better. In terms of safety, our police crews, like I said, are the best they've been since I got here in '98. And in terms of like tourism and things for kids to do, yes, the Aqua Park is for, you know, late 10, teenage-year-old kids to adults. But that's just phase one, okay? It's going to be an adventure park with an indoor theater right next to it, and with what Sharon tells us, with even shows coming in from Abingdon that will be there quarterly, and an arcade attached to it, and a jump house with that, and an after-school program where kids can go to that. And then we're under contract with a bowling alley, and it's going to have an arcade. So there's indoor and outdoor things. The phase one of the Lincolnshire Park is going to be the Lincolnshire or some adventure park. And it's going to have the zip lines and the road courses and an upgraded pool and all these things that we're going to be doing for the children in our community, but also for the children around our community. Because we want to be the focal point of Tazewell County and the focal point of Southwest Virginia and Southern West Virginia, where people come from all around to celebrate what we have to offer and give. So those are the things that I see that we need to continue to do, that we have the foundation and foothold for, but we've got to have that infrastructure so that we can, you know, that we can get the water, we can get everything we need to this hotel that we have got coming, and that we can support all these new businesses. So I think the biggest thing we need to do is continue to build infrastructure in this community, repair infrastructure in this community, while at the same time making sure Todd has both hats on, and we're continuing to grow our businesses and support our existing businesses so that we have the tax revenue to do the infrastructure. So those go hand in hand, because the only other way around that is raising taxes. And nobody wants that, including me.
Since I come after Mr. Brown, it's hard for me to say without repeating everything that he has said. But the council has worked hard for the last 5.5, 6, 7, 8 years. We worked together. Some of the things I would like to see is, I would like to see North Tazewell. Something done with it. We're now going to have our train station over there, and it's going to be a nice place. We need to work on the rest of North Tazewell, trying to get things in there so that it will be upgraded and be a better place. Things that we can do, and I know we've already talked about some of them, but the red light out at Food Line, where you go to Food Line, the Department of Motor Vehicles there. We want to put a third lane in there so that the traffic will not be tied up so badly. We would like to see more businesses come into town. I'd love to see us have another grocery store so that we can get a little more competition in. I would love to see us bring in some industry, and we will work on it, and we're trying. But you can only, no matter who you are, I don't care which one of you decide that you want to run for council, you can only do so much in a certain period of time, because your finances are limited and you have to go with them. Thank you.
You know, I don't know when some of you came here tonight, whether your power was out or not, but we were looked kindly on right here, I think, because, you know, it seemed to be out pretty much North Tazewell and all around. So
that's the reason I was late. I had to get dressed in the dark.
Did you? That made it a little difficult, didn't it? Yeah. Okay, question, let's see. I guess the question for the mayoral candidates, how can we improve? What areas do you see Tazewell can improve in? Mike?
Well, I have one big one. It's great bringing in all these businesses and everything, but when they go to Main Street, where do the people park? I mean, that is a huge problem, especially having a wife that has a business there. You can't go behind her business because the county police have every parking spot pretty much behind or around the old junior high. People come to us and say, you know, I was going to stop and shop, but you know, I had to keep going around, and if it's raining, if they can't stop right in front of your store, they're not gonna stop in. So for Main Street, trying to come up with good ideas, and I know you guys have been looking into it. I know. I'm not gonna take that away from you, but something has to be done, especially if we're looking for more businesses to come in and, you know, go into any vacant buildings that we have there. Okay? I would like to see the other side where these buildings are, the road that goes up through there, Pine Street. You know, if that could be, you know, renovated to make look, you know, inhabitable. You know, we do have the jail there, or the jail apartment, but if it could look nicer too, there's some structures that are empty right now that could also hold businesses. But we get into the problem with parking again because we really don't have any. And just to jump on a little bit of what Emily said, things for our kids. We keep saying we want our kids to stay or we want them to come back, but to what? You know, there's got to be jobs and there's got to be, you know, things for them to do. And I want to see, you know, a huge effort focusing on the youth and either keeping them here or bringing them back, just like we came back. Thank you.
Chris takes a lot of my thunder away from me, but true, infrastructure is sort of the key for development. You know, without a good sewer system, without a good water system, you cannot have a large facility if your sewer system cannot hold that. The same thing on the water lines. They're pretty antiquated. A lot of outages, but we're working on that. One of the things they haven't added was we're having Sunset Digital. They're actually having a meeting here in November the 8th, I think, from 3 to 6, and they're going to bring broadband internet service residential to the town of Tazewell and the surrounding areas. We worked with, they're actually out whole Southwest Virginia, so let's get on board and sign up for that. High-speed internet connection. That's something nobody's ever had around here, I don't think. One of the other areas, and I've talked to Todd a little bit about this, we do have some areas within our town that need some actually tender level care. There are some houses that they just need to be upgraded. And there's some community block grants out there, and hopefully we can look at those and tie all those in together and improve those houses for those people. It's been 40 years probably since we've had a community block grant in the town of Tazewell, and that was on the Maplewood area. And we want to, I like to see us assess that area and try to get some grants for those people. You know, they talk about kids. One of the things we forget to talk about is the YMCA. And when the town supported the YMCA tremendously, and there's activities that they're running, such as youth basketball, indoor soccer, swimming, et cetera, et cetera. And you don't have to be a member to participate in youth basketball there. So, you know, take advantage of it. That's one reason we support it tremendously. Again, parking. Part of the hotel, we got a parking garage that's going to be planned with that. So hopefully that'll take care of a lot of the traffic with the people parking, going to the courthouse. They can park there, and that frees up a lot more spaces on Main Street. Again, I ask you for your vote. Thank you.
Okay, continuing on with our questions for the town council. If elected as council member, what are your top 3 priorities and how would you address them? Good simple question.
Oh, yeah, real simple. Top 3 priorities. Well, I've already said that we need to attract more businesses into the area, that we need to get the motorcycles that are going through to stop. As how to do that, I'm open to suggestions. I think that we need to advertise our area a lot more. There's a lot of things that go on here that nobody knows about. We don't have a central way to get information out where it's kind of piecemeal. We have Tazewell Today that'll try to get information out. We have the council that'll try to get information out, but nothing comes out unified. We need to have a central area to get the information out, because there's a lot of things that have gone on that I, living here, haven't known about until after they've ended. So I do think that we need to do better about getting the information out for what we do offer. Another thing is the different things for kids to do. I think that we need to attract, I know that we do have the daycare and they have expressed interest as part of Tazewell Tomorrow and expanding to have a lot more for our children to offer. I think that we need to explore those to see what they're interested in and how we can support them in doing that. And I do think that we need to work on the infrastructure. I know that we definitely have had a lot of water issues. One of our neighbors used to be Donnie Pruitt, and I know he was in charge of the water with the town, and he was always out doing things. We've had a whole lot of issues where I live on Tazewell Avenue with a lot of people having water in their basements. That was when we moved in, that was one of the first things that we tried to solve, but there are some water issues that need to be solved. And also, I'd like to walk the sidewalks with my kids whenever we go trick-or-treating. Walk up and down the sidewalks. There are definitely places that you can't push a stroller. You have to use one side or the other because it just doesn't work. And some of that has happened. I believe that we need to focus more on that, to have more people out and about.
I'm becoming a broken record here, but the questions are kind of running together.
Yeah.
One, infrastructure, because just like the mayor said and Councilman Murray said, we've got to have the infrastructure to make everything else work. We're actually working on fixing the water problem. There's literally one drainage point from like Italian Village all the way to your house. So that's getting fixed. That's getting engineered and will be getting fixed. Sidewalks, absolutely. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Tazewell Avenue is part of that big grant we got for replacing all of that sidewalk. So that's huge. And all of the infrastructure, the sewer treatment plant, all that has to be in place for the rest, because I believe that our best opportunity, our lowest hanging fruit for this community to thrive is tourism. Bringing all those people through our area and giving them places to stop like we have, because when I walked this street, when there wasn't a single restaurant on the street, and there was four motorcycles parked right in front of Main Street, the old Main Street Cafe, and 10 on this side of the road, all getting off their bikes to go into Main Street Cafe that hadn't been open for like 4 years. And it was embarrassing and ridiculous that all these tax dollars are driving through our town, maybe getting a little bit of gas and a pack of nabs and a Coke at the gas station, and turning right around and going and spending all their money in Marion. That's got to stop. And we're providing more and more for these people to do. And then for our kids, absolutely, and for tourism as well, is all the activities, the adventure park. We are working diligently to identify property. The awesome IDA that we have right now, where we're acquiring property to bring in entrepreneurs, where we want to bring in Juice, you'll love this, a 6 basketball court facility but it's not a basketball court facility. It's basketball, and it's volleyball, and it's wrestling, and as a parent who was embarrassed to say, Michael Hoops, how much money I spend on travel soccer, when I go out of town and have to stay at a hotel and buy my kids meals and find fun things to do after games, you want to find people that'll spend money. Travel sports parents and grandparents lay down the coin. Believe me, I've learned the hard way. So that's something that we're going after. We're working with the Tazewell County schools to acquire property to increase baseball fields as well. So we are working, we are planning. We do have financial constraints, but I promise you, we've got a lot on our whiteboard, and I want to see it through. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I just did.
I'm not a politician, so I'm not going to make you 3 promises of what I want to do. The only thing I'm going to tell you is I'm going to work hard if I'm reelected, as I have for the last 8.5 years. And Mr. Hoops, it is a wonderful problem to have a parking problem on Main Street, because when I came to Tazewell, there was nobody to park on Main Street. So we have a problem now, but fortunately, because of progress, it is a wonderful problem to have. Thank you.
I'll rebut that a little bit. It's a wonderful problem to have unless you're a business owner on Main Street. Because if you are a business owner on Main Street, you can't get the business going the way you like to. But I understand what you're saying too, Jack. But the sword kind of cuts both ways, you know. It's good to see the problem, bad to have the problem, depending on what end of the fence you're on. So, top 3 things, I assume. I just jumped up and started talking. Talking has never been a problem of mine. Ask my mom, she'll tell you I can talk forever. But, so one of the top things, it's something I actually started doing even before I even thought about becoming mayor. Working with larger companies to try to drive them in. I've had the unique experience to work with the Boeings of the world, the Northrop Grummans, the Booz Allen Hamilton, some of the largest companies in this country. And I know their facilities people. I know their logistics people. And I know what they're paying to maintain residents in Northern Virginia. They don't know about the tax breaks that our governor is giving businesses to move to rural Southwest Virginia. But when you start talking to them about it, their eyes open up wide. They start listening because they would like the opportunity to save some money. They can get cheaper labor down here. I mean, the average contractor is charged to the government in DC about $200,000. That's what, if I was working for Booz Allen, no matter what they paid me, they were charging the government $200,000 a year. We don't have that problem here because people work for a lot less down here just to make a living. I'm not saying people aren't worth that, but yeah, it's just where we are. It's the way things are. But yeah, I've always tried to never burn a bridge. So I keep these relationships with these companies that I've been able to, you know, see as I've either worked for, done work with, or have been an employee of them myself. So that's one of my #1 things, is to continue that on. When we first moved here, I was working diligently with the company I work for now, which is a subsidiary of Boeing, to get them to move. We make huge drones, the military type drones. So we have logistical problems. Everything we do is on the Pacific Northwest. So when you have to ship a drone from Pacific Northwest to the East Coast or somewhere over in Europe, it's a logistical nightmare. So I've been working with them to try to get a center in Southwest Virginia. You get it built there, you send it here, we house it, we warehouse it, we warehouse the parts so we can ship it out quicker. So that's kind of my main thing, is to continue working with these larger businesses that don't hire 1, 2, or 3 people. We're talking 300, 400, 500 people. So that is one of my goals. I think having the mayor title gives you a little bit more oomph behind you when you're talking to them. As Michael Hoop's talking to them, they're like, yeah, I know you did great work for us, whatever. But if it's Michael Hoop's mayor, they're going to stop and they're going to think. So I think yeah. See, if I don't look at him, if I keep looking at him.
The question, what's your top 3 priorities? Each year as we face a budget, we sort of identify our needs, and they come and go. You never know if the main or the sewer plant blows up or whatever. You got to spend all your money on there, so you take something off the table and move it on. But again, I think the key there in the town of Tazewell is to improve our infrastructure, continue to work with regional, the county, try to get economic development here. There is some land, but not a whole lot of land within the town limits. So sometimes you might have to take that big plant outside in the county. But we got plenty of land somewhere for housing. So I talked to a couple of people, and we got 4,500 people in town. 10 years from now, maybe we'll have 5,500. That's 1,000 people. That means new homes, new tax bases, and everything. So, I'd like to see us grow residential too, along with on the business side. If you get good jobs, tourism is a great thing, but it don't pay big time jobs. And look at Lebanon, they got some North Burnham and a couple other places down there that's paying pretty well. But we got to attract those people, and like I said, you got to perceive that Tazewell's the place to be, and you got to continue to work at that. And I think that's what we're trying to do on the town council. We're open. We got a lot of incentives for our local business, and just continue to grow with that aspect. The other thing is make sure we're financially stable. Anything we can go backwards. We need to build up our rainy day fund just in case. Economics, coal industry, it goes up and down. Same thing, any other thing, it goes up and down. So 5 years from now, we might have a downturn in the economy. So people quit riding motorcycles. So we gotta have something else. We gotta build a little bit of nest egg just for our protection in the town of Tazewell. And also very proud that the town of Tazewell's borrowing power is quite a bit more than it was 8 years ago. 8 years ago, we probably couldn't borrow a dime for a sewer plant. Today, we probably get that $10 million. So, we're proud that we're financially stable. When you're financially stable, you can do a whole lot more things.
Okay, we're down to our final question. And the final question is, the Tazewell Town Council is a team effort. How do you see yourself as part of that team? How do you see yourself as part of that team if you're elected as the council person?
Well, I know I would have to work with other people. I've been working with other people my entire life. I've worked for attorneys that had clients that I didn't necessarily like, that I still had to work with them. And I still had to be nice to them, and I still had to respect their opinion. Actually, going door to door just recently, I've talked to fellow residents of Tazewell that my opinions are not necessarily theirs, but that doesn't mean that their opinions are any less valid. Everyone has to work together to come to a goal, and I think that we all have the same goal. We want to see Tazewell move forward. We want to see everybody prosper. We want to see our children be able to stay in the area, and that is the goal that you have to keep in mind. You have to put your differences with the individual aside to work towards that goal. And that's what I would do if elected. And I will work tirelessly. I've started just recently, my sister-in-law and I started a Girl Scout troop. So we're trying to do things on our own to have things for the children in the area to do. But I think that I would have a lot more impact if I was on council. And I would love to have your all's vote.
I think it's easy for me to work with a team, and I think we've done a great job working together because the only agenda I have is to make Tazewell the best it can be, to make it a great place for us to live, to rear our children, to have a place where our kids come back to, a place that other people want to come see, the clean that it is. And I think that it starts with a premise where you have a council that is on the same page, and everybody wants that. Everybody in this room wants that. So our existing council, and I'm sure the future council, whatever that may be, will tirelessly work to make this happen. Listen, we've got amazing momentum. We've done amazing things collectively, and I don't mean this council, I mean this town. I think the council's job, the mayor's job, is to support the town manager and the town employees, and to make this a safe place for you to live, and an enjoyable place for you to live, without being burdens to you. And I think we're doing a great job at talking to entrepreneurs. Michael Hoops, whether you get elected or not, you put that on the table and I'm coming to talk to you. So just be ready. That's out there. But I think that the biggest thing I have is that desire to make this place the possibility that I know it is. And that makes it easy to work with everybody.
I think if I'm elected again, I think I can work with the council as I have done in the past. And I think we will work together if I'm there. If not, then I hope that she will work with you the same as always. You know, there's a lot of things we haven't even mentioned tonight, the walking trail that we're working on for the town, which will be good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can take your kids. We're working on sidewalks. When I came to Tazewell, my car business down there, water froze up. I called the town. The man comes down and says, well, it's frozen. I said, well, it is. I said, what can we do? He said, well, I'll have to find a line. I said, well, where is the line? And he got out a witcher stick, I think he called it, and went looking for the water lines. That's the only way the town of Tazewell had to find the water lines. They did not know where the water lines or the sewer lines were. We had 2 police cars. We had 4 policemen. We have come a long way. And in the last 20 years, the town has slowed down greatly. The management did not do the job that they needed to do. And that's the reason we are trying now so hard and trying to play catch up and to do more things so that the town will grow. Thank you.
I'll wait this
Let me ask this question here. It's going to
Blow you away.
It'll blow you away. The mayor's office and town council members have to work collectively and as a team. How do you see yourself, this is for the mayoral candidates, how do you see yourself as part of that team if elected as mayor?
Well, it's pretty easy. I've always been a team player. My personality allows me to get along with pretty much anyone. I've known Emily, we graduated together. Chris, we met and became friends over soccer. Jack, sorry, I don't know you too well.
That's all right.
And even Don, I mean, he was doing sports as I was coming up as a kid. Debbie and Don played volleyball with my mom. Yeah, I've always been there. I've always been kind of the team guy. I'm not going to try to ruffle feathers of something the town council strongly believes in, but I will offer an opinion. Yeah, I won't offer it out in the general public, but if we go and we have executive sessions, I will, voice my opinion or my concerns, because I think, whether I get the vote or not, I still have a voice, and if the people elect me to be the mayor, I want to be the voice. And that's it. Thank you.
Maybe I got a little bit different perspective on some stuff. When I treat the town of Tazewell like a pro sports team. And the owner of the sports team is the citizens of the town of Tazewell. And as the mayor of town, I'm sort of the coach. Todd's pretty much the general manager, so he gets to do all the business tricks. Town council, sort of like the players. They get to go out there and play and vote and make all the decisions. Well, I'll sit back there and run the meeting and hope they don't have a tie vote. And go to Michael's question about the executive session. We did go to executive session at the end of our meetings sometimes, but there's a reason for Freedom of Information Act. We're talking about property that the owner who wants to sell to the town or whatever does not want that out, or some legal question because somebody's suing us, or some personnel question that Todd has an issue with that the public don't need to know. So, if you have a problem with wanting some information, you can always FOIA that information. If it's available, we'll provide it. But again, I enjoy being mayor. I like seeing it grow. I like being part of that team. I like to be on a winning team. That's the key, the winning team. Today I had an opportunity to meet with the mayor and economic development guy from the town of Marion on the back of the Dragon Boat that Tax was having this evening. And unbeknownst, they got the same problem. They got a parking problem. They got restaurants. They don't have a place to stay. So, we're mirroring each other and we're growing together. And that's the key. Work with our neighbors. Work with the county. Work with the state. And work with the United States of America. I ask you for your vote. God bless America. And I ask you to re-elect Don Buchanan, Mayor of Tazewell.
Let's give everybody a round of applause. I've done a lot of candidates forums over the years, and I will say this, it's the most positive forum that I have ever done, and everybody's got good ideas about moving forward and doing what we need to do to get on ahead. And Tazewell's certainly making a lot of strides on that now. And I want to thank all of you all for having enough interest to come out tonight. And this is a believe me, this is an excellent turnout. And thank you so much for coming. Have I left anything out?
Frank, can I say one more thing before we close?
Yes.
I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate Frank. I thank the Chamber of Commerce for having this thing for us tonight. But I would like to tell you, as a citizen, that there's things that you can do to help this town grow too. You can become active. There's things in the town that you as citizens can do. Tazewell today is one thing. Tazewell tomorrow, I've not learned yet exactly what they're doing. But we have Planning Commission, we have IDA,
And we're always looking for people to serve on these things. And you as the citizens are the people who can do this. Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Well, do you want to say anything, Pam? I'll just thank everybody and thank you for your attention. Let Pam just conclude it.
Again, I'd like to thank our candidates for coming out. As Dr. Brown said, Terry Mullins would have been here, but he's had this trip planned for a long, long time, and there was no way to reverse it. But he's come to me twice, and again, apologize for not being here. But all of our candidates turned out. You know, that says so much about the unity and the leadership of our area, that they all came out to let you hear their voice. So, and we appreciate all of you. I know some of you came out during the power outage, but we really appreciate everybody being here and coming out. And next thing, go vote. Okay, that's how you express your voice. That's what makes your voice loud, is by your vote. So again, let's give another applause to our candidates. You all drive safely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.